severe storms, heavy flash flooding, and a developing tropical system are all on the docket for the next 3 days. My name's Dylan. Welcome to the forecast with Dylan. I'm going to guide you through it. We're now 3 days away from our big severe weather event on Wednesday. There's a Day 3 categorical enhanced risk been issued by the National Weather Service, and a 45% Sig 1 probabilistic outlook has been issued. For comparison, this is borderline moderate risk. The Storm Prediction Center meteorologists have noted that all hazards will be possible with this storm. We're now beginning to receive early data from our regional and convection allowing models. This is the regional NAM, so it's not as high quality as the NAM I normally show on this channel, but it will suffice. As you can see, we'll start to see a line form around 8 o'clock. Now, the earlier data we have is from 5. So we can assume that a line formation will take place between 5 and 8 o'clock, probably closer to 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Obviously, this timing is not concrete, but it's really the best thing we have this far. Take a look at our instability here. There's going to be a lot of it along this line. At 5 o'clock, the atmosphere is primed and ready to go, okay? These are surface-based CAPE values between 4 and 5,000 joules per kilogram here, okay? So as we can see, our line will start to use up some of this by 8 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, there's still a good amount of energy in the atmosphere. By 2 in the morning, most of that kind of gets used up. So by 2, we'll start to see these become nothing but just maybe wind and hailers with some rain and some lightning in these areas. We can take a look at the latest 84-hour RFS. Now, since this is still so far out, this can obviously change, but this might give you a better look at the timing. The RFS thinks that between 5 and 6 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon, these little beans will start to pop up here west of Springfield, and by 6 o'clock, there's a lot of individual cells forming to the northwest and really northeast of Springfield and St. Louis, Missouri, south of Chicago. These are the same areas that were impacted by storms the other day. We had multiple EF3 tornadoes roll through some of these places. And as you can see, there will be a line of discrete storms by 7 p.m. Really, they'll dissolve by about 9 or 10, it looks like. Some of this area will have a small wind, hail, and tornado threat by 11, but I think it should diminish by then. Let's move down to the Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall outlook. Okay, so this is the Day 1 outlook, and as there is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall along the southern Gulf Coast. This includes Houston, Texas, Corpus Christi, and Jackson, Mississippi. This is the Day 2 excessive rainfall outlook. Notice how it includes most of the same areas. This is the Day 3 excessive rainfall outlook. A big slight risk is added up here because this is when our storms are going to be expected. But notice how this moderate risk includes some of the same areas. Okay, this still includes Houston. This is the Day 4 excessive rainfall outlook. Notice how it includes a lot of the same areas as the Day 2 and Day 1 outlooks. Okay, this still includes Jackson, Mississippi, Alexandria, Louisiana, and a little bit of Baton Rouge. If you're west of Baton Rouge, you're in the moderate risk for excessive rainfall. Let's look at the computer models for this total precipitation accumulation output here. You notice this is on Thursday at 8 p.m. You notice how by this time, a lot of these areas have accumulated between 7.5, and 8 inches of rain. Okay, some places over here north of Houston have 10.6 inches of rain accumulated by Thursday, okay? And none of this is going to really dry up after it falls. Take a look at the latest 48-hour HRRR. We're looking at the simulated satellites, so this is where the model believes the clouds could be, basically. And as we take a look here, this is kind of our big picture risk zone in my highlighted circle here. We push this forward. I'm really just going to let the loop play. You notice not a lot of these areas receive sunshine up until this is Wednesday at 8, and obviously the 48-hour HRRR can't push past that. But up until Wednesday morning, none of these areas receive a lot of sunshine. And as you can see, by Wednesday at 8 a.m., a lot of these areas have already received a significant amount of rainfall. Obviously, the models are not going to be in exact agreement, but here near Houston, you've got areas with 6, 9, definitely not 9, but around 5 to 6 inches of rainfall. Up here where the rain is more concentrated, north of New Orleans and Baton Rouge, you will have some pockets where lots of rain is going to be falling, possibly between 8 and 10 inches. And because there's going to be no sun, there's going to be no evaporation. So these folks are going to have to trust their drainage systems, which may not be the best. What I'm trying to say here is that this will lead to intense flash flooding in these areas. Okay, so if you're in anywhere in this area between now and really late into Thursday and early Friday, you need to be on the lookout for flash flooding. Okay, if you're out driving, you see a flooded road, turn around, don't drown. Okay, because flash flooding is a very good possibility for these folks. Let's look at the National Hurricane Center. We've talked about them the last couple forecast videos. Let's look at their outlook for this disturbance down here in the Gulf of America. They've now given it a 40% chance of development within the next 2 days and a 50% chance of development within the next 7. We can take a look at the recent satellite data. You can see it's basically just some clouds over here, but they're trying to get their act together as a potential tropical disturbance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is going to be a major Category 5 hurricane that you need to prepare for, okay? But what this will do is it will cause lots of rain for these folks, and this potentially ties into our flooding risk as well. And it will cause a potential for some high winds out in the waters on the Gulf Coast, okay? So if you're anywhere out here throughout the next couple days, you want to be kind of staying aware of where you're going, basically, because there is a potential for high winds if you're on the Gulf Coast. Anyways, that's it from me. If you're included in one of the areas I talked about today, make sure you're being weather aware throughout this week. Okay, I'll have another forecast video out for you either tomorrow or Wednesday. The plan is to take a deep dive into Wednesday's setup. If we can't do that, it'll be kind of just another similar to my regular style forecast with Dylan videos. You know how it goes. But I hope to do kind of more of like a synopsis thing. I hope to kind of dumb it down enough so that if you're not a weather nerd, you can understand me. But I also hope to put enough detail in there so weather nerds will understand me on like a high enough level. Okay, I hope I'm getting my point across to you. But anyways, thanks for watching the forecast with Dylan. My name's been Dylan, and have a great Monday. Also,
it came 26. It's a good day to be a king.